Hi all, welcome to another episode with ARTO. Again, speaking to people and our experts in ARTO. Today I'm joined by David Hallett. So David leads our team within the CDMO space within business development, purely across North America. So nice to have you, Dave. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we'll start nice and broad. Can you tell me about the current situation within business development in the CDMO space? How is that?
Yeah, of course. I think the business development market itself is becoming increasingly competitive and sophisticated in a way. I mean, especially with emerging modalities like mRNA, cell and gene therapy, and biologics. Business development professionals are now more than just the usual salespeople. The role has become deeply consultative in a way. They need to be able to identify potential clients, really understand their development and manufacturing needs, and then navigate the specific solutions that align with their scientific, regulatory, and commercial goals overall. So we're in a time at the moment where clients look for fewer but actually deeper relationships. So now business development has become just a core strategic function of CDMOs of all sizes.
From a generic perspective, in my head, Lonza, Thermo Fisher, these are the big players that can provide the pure end-to-end solution. So why would I go to a smaller CDMO, for example? And if I'm business development, how am I winning against these giants in the industry?
So niche CDMOs, small CDMOs, aren't going to have the resources and facilities such as companies like Lonza and Wuxi. It's just not going to be possible. But what you can have with a small CDMO is really niche capabilities and really niche expertise that will align with the specific expertise of the organization or the client that they're working with. So even a small niche CDMO might be leaders within, for example, automation and robotics that provide a lot of benefits to specific clients and clientele. It really depends on the situation that the clients are in and what their specific needs are. It's quite hard to answer in like a generalistic view.
No, so then leading on then, how has the role of business development evolved within CDMOs as the market shifts towards more specialist and high complexity modalities? So mRNA, ADCs, we're hearing a lot more about. What are you seeing here?
As I said before, the CDMO sector has become increasingly consultative and sophisticated. So it's no longer necessarily about selling capacity. It's actually about demonstrating capabilities as well. So clients now expect business development professionals to have a technical understanding of what they do, speak their language, and actually provide strategic input even from the early stages of engagement.
If I was coming into the space and I'm brand new, what type of business development professional am I looking for? Am I looking for the ones that work for Lonza because they've got the capabilities and that breadth of what they can offer? So when they're talking to clients, they can provide them that whole package solution and they've got high caliber in doing that? Or am I going to try and find the people that have had to work for the small organizations, be resilient, play against the big guns and come out successful? So if I've got all this money sitting in a pot and I want to enter into the CDMO space because I see that there's a lot of investment in manufacturing now with Lilly, Sanofi, all the big players now saying we're spending billions in manufacturing. But CDMO space wise, those BD guys, which candidates do you think are going to excel here? If I was a candidate, how do I show that I am the next best thing?
It's an interesting question because it really depends on, first of all, what type of CDMO you are. So if you're looking at, for example, small molecules, it's quite a simple process. You're comparing it to biologics and innovative medicines like CGT. Now, when you work for a company, a big company like Lonza and Wuxi, the advantages that you do have is the Rolodex. You know, you're used to working with not just a big number of clients, but really strong clients as well. But you might have difficulties actually transitioning into a role within a small CDMO that doesn't necessarily have the reputation of Lonza, where you're not going to have the Rolodex. Your roles could be purely about generating new business, and you might not be used to that in a big CDMO like Lonza. So I think more importantly, you need someone with strong commercial acumen, but someone who really has a technical understanding of the market that they work in, which is why someone with a scientific or an engineering background has got its weight in gold.
Amazing answer. It brings me on to then, what are the key traits of the best business development people, the top performing professionals in this highly competitive CDMO space?
I mean, it's hard to say, right? Because we're talking about people here and people are all different. But in my experience, the high performers within business development have a strong technical understanding of the market, as I said before, and they blend scientific fluency with a really strong understanding of the drug development lifecycle. I think a great business development professional will, using their technical understanding of the market, understand the client's needs and position themselves as a strategic partner as opposed just to like a traditional vendor.
If I am someone who's technical and I'm in a different role at the moment, and I then feel I've got the attributes, the traits to get into business development, how do you think I could get the opportunity? How would I stand out?
There are a lot of business development professionals that purely rely on commercial acumen. They're really salespeople, but companies, I mean, they have their different strategies, right? There are companies that implement some sort of specific onboarding or training program to increase their technical ability and understanding of the market. But then there are a lot of companies that hire from consultancies or sponsor side people who already have the scientific knowledge mixed with just that commercial acumen already. And a lot of people take people from the sponsor side directly. So if you have that drive to move within the CDMO sector, there's nothing stopping you.
No, I appreciate it. And then I think final one for me is, where are we heading with so much going on in the world at the moment? Where do you see, or what are you hearing in terms of the next sort of 12 to 24 months in this really competitive CDMO space?
Well, I think if you look 2 years ago, I think a lot of people would agree the cell and gene space was the place to be, right? It was getting all of the interest and it was getting all of the investment. Now, especially within solid tumors, there just wasn't enough success stories, and the cost of manufacturing was so high. I feel like really the interest investment has now moved towards monoclonal antibodies, ADCs, antibody drug conjugates. So I think if you're within the ADC space right now, you're in a great place for the next few years to come.
What do I do if I'm cell and gene therapy right now? Because it can't go. We hear people say that if we can find superstars that absolutely love them, and it is such a shortage of talent, but I've only got one life. Surely if I'm cell and gene therapy now, I'm a bit lost as to what I do.
Yeah, well, it's not that bad. Listen, the cell and gene therapy space is not dead in no means at all. It's just that the smaller niche CGT CDMOs are really struggling to, for example, compete with the big game players like Lonza. Now, if you're a great business development professional who can generate strong revenue for the business with a strong understanding of the CGT space, then I'm not telling you to move out of that area. There are many organizations that are doing really well within that space. I think if the CGT space is where you want to continue, that's absolutely fine, but just make sure that you evaluate the organization, and its volatility before making the move. Because the last thing that you want to do is join a company and then look for a new role in 6 months' time.
In this highly competitive market, if I'm the client now, how can I stand out to get this top talent?
Well, I think the most important is that you need to be able to differentiate yourselves from other companies in such a competitive environment. If you're a CDMO, a small CDMO that's working in the cell and gene therapy space, that doesn't stand out in any other way. First of all, how are you going to be able to get the clientele to be a successful organization? Never mind the talent within business development. Now, another way to be able to attract the best people is money at the end of the day, right? I know these are people with technical understanding of the market, but they're salespeople. So, whether that's a higher base or, not capping the commission structure, instead of 1%, it's a 2% commission rate. It's up to you, but money talks at the end of the day.
What's a good commission structure that you've seen?
Well, it depends. If you're looking at really attracting the really successful business development professionals, I think that first of all, if you're looking between 1% and 2% commission rate, that's good. If it's uncapped, then I think the real strong business development performers will enjoy that, because it means that they're not limiting their revenue. And I think that's a really attractive feature.
In terms of how life's been since COVID, so if you think we're in quite similar realms in terms of sales, so in recruitment we've seen a huge up, then down curve, and then back around to people leaving industry, the types of personalities that are having to evolve. What have you seen in terms of the business development world and talent and how that's gone? Has it evolved? Has it changed at all? Are people have to do things differently?
Oh, listen, it's been really hard over the last 3 to 4 years since COVID. Post-COVID, there's been a significant downturn in investment towards the life sciences. And that has had an impact on the CDMO sector. I mean, of course it will, right? I think at the end of the day, business development, as I said before, is a real core strategic function of the CDMO space. And the way I see it is, if you've got a good product and you're looking to increase the revenue, where do you start? Business development. If you're successful, but you're looking to continue to grow, where do you start? Business development. No. Business development is at the forefront of generating new business and increasing the revenue of your organization.
Thank you very much, Dave. Really appreciate it. Really insightful. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, please follow us and look us up on LinkedIn, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the content.